Hello, it's me, Jess. Welcome to my channel. I'm here with another channeled message. This is a specific message. It might resonate with you, it might not. Okay, so this energy that I'm tapped into is all over the place. It's extremely emotional and it's confusing in the sense that there's a lot of emotions here, but I don't know that I could even pull out each of the emotions that are actually here and actually present. I feel like this person that I'm tapped into, it's almost unbearable to just be. It's almost like they want to just rip off their skin, but it's almost unbearable, like the feeling of being in this emotional state. And the emotions themselves are very confused because, as emotions can do, they don't make logical sense. They don't make logical sense with what this person knows to be their situation, like what they know about their situation, but also a lot of these emotions contradict each other, like they're opposites of each other. And I feel like this person's impulses of what it is that they feel like they should do or what they want to do or what they want to say, a lot of them are in contradiction, like I'm hearing with reality or with their situation, and so it's all just bubbling up into this really strong sense of emotional overload and overwhelm. And it's just very sensorial. I feel like I want to cry and there's something in my throat, but I don't know if I want to speak or throw up. I feel tense and I feel like my adrenaline has kicked in to assist me in fight, flight, or freeze, but I don't know which one I'm going to do yet. So for all of that kinetic energy going on inside of me where I want to erupt like a volcano and just peel my skin off, I just feel paralyzed. And I feel like that's how this person feels. And they also don't feel in control of any of it. They don't feel in control of their emotions. They might not feel in control of the things that they say or do. So they just kind of sit there in this kind of very kinetic state of being prepared to act or say something or something, but not. And they are in a very almost I'm seeing a snake kind of coiled up, it'll just uncoil on reflex. And it feels kind of defensive, but this person doesn't even know what they're defending because it seems to be clashing with reality. So all of that, right? I pulled some cards here to just help ground me in the situation. And I feel like all of this is actually around a third party situation here or their perception of it. And some of the cards that I have here, so I've got unfinished business, it's not over, patterns, back and forth, and baggage. I've got player, charming, manipulative, karmic, being tested, and fear, afraid, uneasy, suspicion, scared. And the root card, the anchor card grounding all of this is date, courting, dating, anniversary, and meetup. So I feel like this person that I'm tapped into here is a third party energy, they themselves are a third party, and it's to a player energy. So I feel though that doesn't necessarily bother them because they know that this man is a player. They know he's on the go. They know that he is sleeping with other people. I don't feel like there's any deception here really about that. I feel like they both understand the situation, that this is a non-committal situation, and just that it is what it is, which is where that logic kind of comes in here. I feel like this person knows that that's the way this player feels about them, that there's not attention really poured into the space or feelings, and that I think they've agreed to this situation, but it feels to me like it's not what this person wants. They feel emotional about this person, but I think they've settled for it because I think they tell themselves, and that this is what they think about him, that this is just who he is. He is just non-committal. He is just a player. So I think they feel well, it's nothing to do with them. It's just, this is the way that he is. So I think in a weird way, they're okay with this situation, so long as they get to share him, so long as he comes back around in this situation. So what I feel like's gone on here though, because I think the universe has actually been trying to message this person, maybe for quite some time, that this is the reality of the situation to help them get out of this. Because I feel like that's actually the energy that they're in around this player in general. I don't think it's to this degree, but I think that's the baseline actual feeling of it. It keeps this person in stasis. It keeps them trapped in paralysis in some way and in some kind of fear state. And I'm hearing, the quote that says, the two energies in the universe are love and fear. Well, I feel like this relationship, this setup, this energy, these are definitely karmics to each other, definitely. I think they may think that it's love or that there's emotions here, but it's definitely karmic. Because for this particular person that is this third party to this player, and they know, they're more, I feel like this is a fourth, fifth, or sixth party. I mean, there's a lot of different ones here, and they do know that. But this situation keeps them trapped in a state of fear, and even their body in a state of fear. So I feel like the universe has been trying to wake them up because I feel like this person's had their heart broken by this person in the past of like kind of realizing that, and they're afraid of that. So that's one of the fears that they have in this situation. They're afraid of this cycle kind of like playing out again because it does. And I think they told this person that that it's not over and that they had baggage or they had something that they needed to work out. And maybe this was a date or this was a meetup and they decided they were going to meet up. But they have this suspicion that there's a hidden motive. There's some kind of like disguise here that this player actually has his eye on somebody else from his past. Some kind of old flame situation that he actually has feelings for. That's what they're afraid of. And they're afraid of getting their heart broken by this person because they know that he's shady. And I think they're scared of like that coming out again, but that's where this doesn't make sense because they know that he just is shady. I think he's very charming and very manipulative, and they like to confuse themselves. They like to stay in the fantasy bubble that they've created around this man, even though logically, I feel like this person does know that he is what he is, and this situation is what it is, and then it's going to go around, and then it's never going to, they do kind of know that. So that's one of the things that they're afraid of. They're afraid of getting their heart broken here. But I'm seeing them look, I think what triggered this, because this pitched this up in like such a strong emotional energy. I feel like what triggered this is like at a party, I'm seeing them look out at the person that this player, I want to say, is in love with or like has actual romantic feelings for. And they know that this player, I feel like this player and this person are standing next to each other in like my vision, and this player is not paying this person any mind. They're not giving this person any attention. They don't really ever like kind of look at this person. Instead, they're looking out like across the party at this person that they have romantic feelings for. And they may even be watching this person interact with someone that they maybe think they are with or something here like that. And that's what's pitched this kind of crisis. And I think this is kind of the peak of it, the zenith, if you will, because Spirit has been trying to just have this person accept, really truly accept, even on an emotional level, what this situation is, and they're not doing it. But I think what did it is the romantic feelings thing, because I think they were okay with this situation and they're addicted to this person, and they're addicted to the dopamine response because it's like they do accept what the situation is, but then every time that they get a message from this person, every time that they think that they're going to see this person or see this person out or have a meetup, then the dopamine hits in, and like this, it's just like all logic and reason goes out the window, and they're just giddy and they're just happy, and it's like he's their drug. It really is. And it's like the thing that they look forward to most in the world, and they do not want to lose that. So right there's that contradiction. They're afraid of this cycle going around again because they know what he is. They know that he's shady. They know that he's deceptive. They know that he's a heartbreaker, basically. But they're afraid of losing this situation. And that's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. They're afraid of this cycle, of this being over for good. So this definitely looks like a trauma response. It looks like a trauma bond. It looks like ambivalence, like damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I feel like, again, it's pitched up because I think they were kind of okay staying in this, like to some degree. This is a very painful situation, a very karmic situation here as well. And they're hidden enemies to each other for sure. But I feel like this, it hit ahead because what they saw or what they sensed watching this player look out at this person is the romantic feelings. They sensed that it wasn't just about schmegs. It was about him having romantic feelings for her. And this person, who is a third party, looked out at this person like they were the third party, interloping on their situation. And maybe this has gone on for a long period of time, but they're not together. This is not a committed situation, and he's sleeping with other people, and she does know about that. And I think she might be as well, because I'm kind of seeing for her, this is another contradiction in the emotions, right? I'm seeing for her the Hierophant energy like sit just behind her. And I think she is afraid she's really afraid that this man is going to level up. He's going to deal with his player ways, and he's going to want to offer his Ace of Cups, like his cup of love, to this person that might be an old flame from his past that he has romantic feelings for. He's going to go back because he feels that they have unfinished business. She feels like she wants them to have unfinished business, but it feels like this just never-ending cycle. But she can sense that he feels he's got unfinished business, and he wants to go back for this person that he has romantic feelings for, and that when he gets his stuff together, he's going to offer her his Ace of Cups and become the King of Pentacles. And I don't even think that it would bother this person if this player energy went off to be in a relationship with somebody else, because whoever this is, and I think the other people he involves with, they just think that he's never going to change. So even if he goes off and gets in a quote unquote relationship, I think they feel like he's maybe incapable of love or incapable of commitment, and that's not even something he would want. So they expect this man to keep his side flings going. But there's something about seeing him have genuine romantic feelings that they didn't think he was capable of. They've never seen this man want to be in a relationship before, you know? That's what scared them. And it scared them because they thought that this person thought that they were going to get cut off. And I'm saying they, so there could be more than one person here, but they were afraid that they were going to get cut off. That it's an addiction, this roller coaster, this cycle of, the dopamine hit of when he texts them or when they're going to meet up or something like that. That's what they're most afraid of losing. And I think another thing that's confusing me about the contradiction is I think this person's with someone else. Because again, I'm seeing the Hierophant energy like over this person's mind, like when it comes to like their fear energy. And I think for some, this person's married to somebody. For some, they are married to somebody that's like giving them everything is the Hierophant energy. But they're most fixated on this player. They're most afraid of this situation ending that's sporadic and noncommittal, and he doesn't even pay them any attention really. They're most scared of that ending than even their own marriage ending of like being found out of dealing with this player, right? Which is an interesting thing. Now, even if they're not with somebody else, I feel like the fear is like they want this Hierophant energy. They know that they want they want the marriage, they want something traditional, but they also know it's not on offer here with this player. And they do know it. He's told them. I feel like he's shown them with his actions multiple times. I feel like this person just refuses to see the reality of the situation. And it is because this isn't love, this is an addiction. This person is addicted to this man's attention. And I feel like that may go back to childhood. I think it might be a father wound or a parent wound where, like this person could have really lived for like maybe their father, I don't know, say their father was like worked out of town on business trips and they would come home and for those 3 seconds right when he walked into the door, and really saw this person, was excited to see them, they lived for that moment even if he would just toddle over to the couch and pass out like right after that, and then have to get up and go to work at 8 like they just lived for those moments. And I think it scratches some kind of psychological itch here. This person's like unpredictability and the very fact, I think, that this person doesn't care about them, this player. And they know that too. They know that whenever he leaves their presence, he's not hung up on them. He's not stuck on them. He's going out, he's being with other people. They know all of that. But they also like the mental confusion of whenever he texts them, and the dopamine hit that they get, they are conflating attention with love. They conflate schmegs with love. So when he does leave and they don't hear from him for a minute and then he texts them, they get excited because it confuses their emotions. And they like that. They like being in the fantasy of it, even though I think that they still see very clearly. And I think it's a fantasy maybe over his feelings. But I think this pitched up into a fever pitch because they all of a sudden saw him have real feelings. They saw what it looked like when he has feelings for somebody. And they never see there's like a double speak here where it's like they never thought that was possible, but then so I don't know, it's like it allows this fantasy to kind of go on. And this is devil energy between the two of them. He is a hidden enemy to her. And I think that she feels like he's not, like it's something else. She kind of knows though, like she kind of knows. And I think the other thing here is that she's afraid. I think that her fear in this situation and her clinging to her fix, her addiction, which is this man and his attention, possibly led her to behave in ways that she is not naturally. Like she's not a snake, but she's behaved like a snake here. Deception, shady, temptation, enemy, and it led to heartbreak here. Or she was willing to do that. And potentially it's because she's already in a marriage or a relationship here. And she knows that she's become the snake. She's sneaking around. Now she's a player. Now she's and it's this heartbreak energy, but I feel like she feels heartbroken. She feels like, stuck in the situation. But I think she also may have interfered in this situation in a shady way. That's for some of you. To like prevent this player from moving towards this person he has romantic feelings for. And she knows that she's caused some kind of heartbreak here. And that's another thing she has fear about. She has fear over that because I think, by her own admission, I think she might think that they're divine counterparts. I think she thinks that. Whether or not they think that about each other, I think there's certainly romantic feelings here. She thinks that she may be interfered in a divine connection, but she can't help herself either. Yeah, so, and she feels guilty. And I think she wants to help maybe mend this situation. She's definitely been introduced to her own shadow side here. And I think it has something to do with commitment. I think she's actually non-committal, but she doesn't realize it. She, and this might have to do with her Mars, because a lot of times women can project those kinds of qualities on the men that they date. So especially like if she's in a relationship with somebody, like that's either a marriage or it would lead to that, and she's cheating with this player energy, it is because she's non-committal, but she tells herself that this player is non-committal. She's non-committal because I think she's afraid of her husband, like not in a bad way. I think he offers her more than enough. But I think, okay, and this is kind of linking into like kink territory, and it's just my opinion, and this is not backed in anything that I've ever read. This is just what I think. I think kink sometimes, because it's all in that scorpionic energy, it is the schmegel energy, the psychological energy, and the shadow side and the fear and everything. They can kind of scratch a psychological itch, and she literally may have a kink for being ignored and being mistreated and not being poured into. And I'm hearing things like cum rag and like just F doll and things like not being cared about and being discarded. And it's built up that addiction because I'm also getting like B.F. Skinner, which he's a psychologist and he's a behavioral psychologist. And he put forth like the behavioral branch of psychology, and he is the pigeon guy, right? Where he did experiments with the pigeons where they would peck on the boards a certain number of times and then it would release the pellet, and they changed it up. So one, it would be on a pattern that the pigeons could predict. Like every 2 times that they peck on the board, they get a pellet. But there's also an intermittent schedule for some, like where they couldn't predict it because sometimes it was 1 time, sometimes it was 7, sometimes it was 8. Well, that was the most addictive pattern at all. And I feel like that's what it's like dealing with this player, because he doesn't care. He's really not thinking about it. He's really out doing his own thing. It just depends on how many people are on his roster, who he needs to abuse that day. Like it just depends on that. And like how soon or not, and they can't predict when he's going to come back in. So then like whenever he texts or they're going to meet up, it's random and it's this fix, it's this high. It is an addiction. That's what this is. And this person can't let go of the addiction. And I think it also gives them an out in their marriage or their relationship. And I can't remember where I read this, but I remember, okay, so a 3-pronged stool is more stable than a 2-pronged stool. There's stability that comes in with a 3. I've even heard that it's more stable than 4. Like with a chair, like 4 legs on a chair. I've heard that 3 can be the most stable pattern that there is, but I don't know about that. It doesn't matter. There's a stability to the 3 where when somebody feels a lot of intensity, and I'm hearing like fear of inadequacy, fear of commitment, that just when there's just 2 people there, actually it's intensity overload. So I think they might feel like, oh, I don't know, the passion is died with their partner or something. Actually, it's intensity overload. And they're trying to, and this player as well, they're trying to check out of that by adding a 3rd energy that actually makes the situation more stable. And that is like, well, I keep this marriage together, but then I have my little boo thing on the side that I keep a secret. And that actually, for some people that have like emotional dysregulation or a commitment problem or something, and it feels really intense it actually feels really intense to be in just an intimate pairing. That feels so intense, and they try to run from it. So they try to mitigate that intensity by having a 3rd party on the side that they don't have to care about. And it kind of distracts, because it can distract somebody and think, okay, well, I guess I have feelings for both of these people, or I'm in love with both of these people for different reasons or whatever. But at least they don't have to confront their fear. At least they don't have to confront where they feel inadequate or bored or lacking, or they don't have to confront the actual root of the problem. They've created a distraction that is much more interesting for the brain to think about. And I feel like that's what's going on here between these 2, which is why they're karmic to each other and everyone that comes into contact with them, because she can't control herself around this guy. I mean, I think she's behaved in ways that she doesn't even recognize herself, especially if she's in a marriage or a relationship already. And it's breaking her heart to do this, but there is no love in this situation. It's just not on. It's not, they're just running. Both of them. And I think if you are this person and you're stuck in this dynamic, I think it would help. I think you might need some help sorting this out. And I think you should treat it like an addiction, but I'm not an expert. But I'm just saying, like, because there's a lot of emotions here. And like I said, I can't even grab them all, but a therapist could maybe help you pull apart and like figure out where it's coming from and figuring out a healthy path out of this. Because I think you do actually want out of this, whether you know it or not. Like, this is not a healthy situation. But I think it also might help to look at this player for everything that he lacks, because I think you see him as like this ace of wands, like, oh my gosh, he's so passionate and fresh and always new, and it's that dopamine hit, right? But it's actually the easiest thing in the world for someone to be interesting and passionate and new and vivacious when it's novel every time, when they're popping in and out of your life, because they're not with you. This is why I say I'm fond of saying husbands are better than twin flames, because a husband wakes up with you every morning. They hold you when you're sick. They take out the trash. They're right there with you. They pay the tax bill. They're right there with you. Well, yeah, your relationship's going to change, and that can be an exciting new adventure, and it can free you up to explore your multifaceted fulfillment in other areas of your life. Not saying that you're going to necessarily lose something, but that's a part of living like a well-rounded life. These two people are scared to get their feet wet, actually. When it comes to life, they're scared. They're scared of confronting other things. So they kind of this is a stunted energy. These two people kind of keep themselves stunted in like I'm forever 17. And that can be interesting for a while, but at a certain point, it's kind of nice to talk to a 40-year-old. You know, it's kind of nice to talk to a 35-year-old. There's a fulfillment there. There's a maturity. There's a, you know, it's nice and it's expected, and it's where there could be something strange. And I feel like that's what they do, is they keep each other distracted. They keep each other from progressing. They actually keep each other from jumping towards their fears. For this player, I think it is going towards his romantic feelings, towards this person here, and actually having literally trying to do the committed thing and being completely honest about his struggles with that, like, and building the intimacy with his genuine partner over here. And I'm kind of getting the scene from Hitch where, you know, at the end when he's going after Eva Mendes character, and, you know, he's this like big player guy, you know, he helps everybody be suave, but he can't even look at her at the end. He's like, can you close the door? Can you close the door? Like, he can't even look at her and just ask her out on a date, even though he's approached hundreds of women to ask them out on dates, because he cares about her. And so it's because it's not the same thing, that schmegs and that love thing. And I think that's what they had to confront here, is it's not the same thing at all. And it's about taking a step into this other territory when you're ready to do so. But Hitch had to be open and vulnerable in that movie. He had to say, like, look, I don't know, you do something strange to me. I feel nervous. I feel vulnerable. And that's what he was running from. Remember at the beginning where that lady cheated on him and he had the braces and he felt awkward and like the nerd. And that's what pushed him into being so suave in the player. Maybe this player has a background story like that. It's like, oh my God, I'm never going to be that fumbling idiot again. But then this lover person that he feels romantic feelings for makes him feel that way. But it's because it's love, or it's romance. It's not just whatever this is, because this is where he's comfortable, because he doesn't have to feel anything. And I think that's what this person's most afraid of. This third party. They're afraid of looking at that clearly. But they do know that that's what it is, and that's why they're drawn into it at the same time. And they like the fantasy of it. They like confusing their emotions, is really what I'm getting. They like that. Maybe both of these people, that game, like that high. But I think they're non-committal, both of them. I mean, because she knows he is. And I think she's like, well, I would be with him if he wasn't non-committal, and that's why we can't be together. But then she saw that he actually does have feelings for somebody else. So whoop, there it goes. She didn't think that was possible. So it scared her. And I think it's because now she has to admit that this is dysfunctional, and that she's non-committal as well. And yeah, so there's a hidden motive here. And again, I do think that she's feeling guilt because she knows that she separated these people out. But, you know, and he does want to go towards this lover person, but I have a couple of things I want to say about this. First, well, before I get into that, I just want to say, like, if this is you, if you are this third party, I think you're scared to lose the situation. I think you're scared of things ending here as well, because it's just familiar. And I'm literally hearing, like, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. Because you're afraid of being cut off in this situation. Because you wouldn't mind it if he got in a relationship. Some of you are in a relationship too, if this is you, that's this third party. But it's like you expect this third party situation to like continue going forward. It scares you that it might not. And it might not because he may get himself into a relationship where there's genuine romantic feelings, where he may actually want to do right by a woman, maybe even have a little family with her and do right by his kids, set a solid example, protect his family, protect his future, protect everybody's hearts in this situation. He may actually want to live up to that. That's what you're scared of because he's your dopamine fit. He's your escape hatch. That's what you're scared of. This isn't love. You're not afraid of losing him, right? You're afraid of losing the high. You're afraid of losing the crutch. Now, the other thing though is like, even if this guy does have romantic feelings, I can see that he has romantic feelings for somebody here. Even if he decided, like the feelings are not enough. He doesn't have the skills to back it up, right? So even if he does, how long do you think it's going to last? I mean, I hate to be a pessimist. I'm a realist, right? But it's like, this guy is really clearly used to a certain lifestyle. This is very ingrained to the point where the people around him don't think he'll ever change. So do you think he's really going to be capable of it? Even if he does want to be the King of Pentacles, do you think he even can be the King of Pentacles? I don't know. He's probably just going to go break her heart. And she might have to go through the same cycle that you're going through. The difference is, though, I don't think she'd put up with it. Because she has love for him and he has love for her. And if he's not going to treat her with if he's not going to honor and respect that feeling between them, the love between them, then she's not interested in being a third party or a sixth party or anything like that. He wouldn't be the man she fell in love with. He wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? But you're afraid that he wants to move towards her, and he does feel that they have unfinished business. But he also, I can see like the two major arcana cards, he wants to move towards this Empress. He wants that. He wants the Venus. He wants the love. He wants the growth. But he, I think, is being prevented by the universe from doing so until he deals with the devil energy. And you are a part of that devil energy, and he's a part of it for you as well. And I don't think you're the only one. I think there's other people here as well. Because I think it's a pattern with this guy. I don't think you're the only devil situation. He probably, yeah. He has to clear that up because he's addicted to this. Because he's addicted to not feeling anything. And having the control. And he likes having the control because it's basically like you believe him because you want to. You want to buy into the fantasy. And that makes him feel in control. That you fall for the deception and that you kind of let him go around and then break your heart again. And that you still take his calls even if you haven't heard from him in a while and it's disrespectful. Like, he likes that. He knows he can't play that same game over here with her. He knows it. This is an entirely different territory here. And it makes him feel out of control. And he's addicted to being in control, and he can only be in control if he doesn't go deep. And this might have to do with his childhood, I'm sure, as well. Because there's something as well about like not finishing things. Because that's another thing that he does in this like player repertoire that he does is this like between the lines, very vague. And I feel like you'll realize that too. Like in the messages, he could be very vague, or he allows you to fill in the blanks. And you like playing this little game with each other. He will allow you to imply certain things, but he doesn't say it like maybe directly, but he does like, yeah, he won't necessarily correct it. And you know he's deceptive. And I think it's kind of the Coney Island feeling, if you are this third party again. Like, I don't know who I'm talking to in this situation. It's kind of like the Coney Island thing, you know, in Pinocchio, which is the liars, which obviously this is a cheating situation. So lying is always the base of that. And it's like the longer that you're on Coney Island, the more you turn into a jackass. And it's like real. And it's like permanent. You didn't have bad intentions, but this is the energy you've been in. So now I'm hearing that scene from Mean Girls where she says, oh, you're not pretending anymore. Look in the mirror. You're plastic. Like, I think you thought, oh, well, this is just like a side situation. This is just, no, but this is like the longer you're in this kind of like, yeah. And it's a fear state as well. It's a lack state. It's a fear state. And it's a frozen state, which to me always like, it's trauma. And I just want to remind you, I think you know this, like the logic of this situation is that you are scared of losing this guy, but you're losing a player. You're losing a snake. You're losing a deceptive person who breaks your heart and who pulls you away from, I think, your true love. Whether that's somebody that you're already with that really does love you and gives you everything and enjoys that and makes sure that you're taken care of, or whether that's who you want in your life. It's taking you away from that. And even if he does by some miracle turn himself completely around and he does actually boss up and become the King of Pentacles for this other person over here, you still didn't lose a King of Pentacles. He was never the King of Pentacles for you, and he was never going to be, because the only reason he's over here is because he can shut off his emotions over here in this situation. That's the energy between the two of you. That's why he's there. You didn't lose a King of Pentacles. You lost a player. And that will always be a win. Even if he goes off, because we all have karmics and we all have soulmates. So yeah, I think you've seen that he has a soulmate here. But it doesn't change the fact that you are karmics. It can't roll over to your situation. He can't be the King of Pentacles for you, because it's just not the energy here. You guys both hide from yourselves and your lives. And this is a non-committal energy. It's a fear of commitment. And it could be because you both think commitment is, I just heard monogamous, monotonous. And it could be because, your father didn't pay any attention and you're scared of it going into that way of just being, part of the furniture and something like that. But what happens if you address that head on, So this was a long, this was a long one, but, and he's got more to clean up than just you, I think. He's in this with a lot of people. It's his player ways, and he has to just decide that he wants to do something else. What's ironic is I think he's going to have to just realize that he's bored doing this same old, same old. This is his same old, same old. But it's unfulfilling. It doesn't offer him the extras that this maybe other person could. Yeah. And he wants to go over there, and I think he wants to compete here as well. He's just not in the best position because you're there. I think you know that. And the truth of that situation would maybe cause a tower moment and a blockage or an obstacle. And that's why he's holding himself back or not going over there. And maybe you did that on purpose to try to control the situation, because this is a situation about control. It's not a situation about love. And you both like to feel in control, but this is keeping both of you locked in the energy of fear, not in the energy of love. And it's only tanking your energy. So anyways, and this is the energy of addiction. And I do just want to say here as well, I think you need to treat this man like an addiction. And I feel like you need support in doing this. So, deleting his number from your phone, changing your phone number. I don't know if you can move or stop. It's just like an alcoholic. They're not supposed to hang out with the people that they typically drink with. They're not supposed to go to the bars and hang out there. They're supposed to change, I feel like you need to go to new places, not hang out with the people that you know him through or where it would bring him to front of mind, I think you need to treat this like it's an addiction. And like he's the enemy in your life that he actually is. Because you're both hidden enemies to each other, and realizing that you are also his enemy. The only love that can occur in this situation, and this last thing I'm going to say and I'll let you go, is letting each other go. That's the act of love here, because love liberates. Love heals. Love says, I want what's best for you. And this is not what's best for either of you. It's not. So if you want to love each other, you have to let each other go. All right. So that's what I have. If that resonates, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Bye, guys.